Okay, welcome back. So we will continue discussing with the Lord Lytton. So in British politics, there were two-party system, Liberal Party and the Conservative Party. So when Conservative Party comes to power, tighten screw over the Indians, and when Liberal Party comes to the power, it gave some relief to the Indians. And it became fashion that 4 years Conservative, 4 years Liberal. So this Lord Lytton, he was from the Conservative Party. And obviously Conservative Party always tighten screw over the Indians. So here Lord Lytton started passing these acts: Arms Act, Vernacular Press Act. So confiscation of the press at the wish of district magistrate, at the wish of judicial magistrate, at the wish of judicial magistrate. Confiscation of press as a wish of judicial magistrate. Confiscation of press at the wish of judicial magistrate. So no appeal can be made against the decision of judicial magistrate. No appeal can be made against the decision of judicial magistrate. If judicial magistrate had decided to confiscate the press, so against the confiscation of press, there won't be any appeal against judicial magistrate in any court. There won't be any appeal against judicial magistrate in any court. So no appeal can be made against the decision of judicial magistrate in any court of law. So means the judicial magistrate will have a totalitarian power in handling the confiscation of press. So that is the reason why Surendranath Banerjee, he said, it is bolt from blue. Bolt from blue. So Surendranath Banerjee said that it's a bolt from blue. No appeal can be made against the decision of judicial magistrate. So Surendranath Banerjee, he said that's a bolt from blue. So confiscation of press at the wish of judicial magistrate. Bolt from blue means sky. So Surendra Nath Banerjee called this as a bolt from blue. Then Delhi Darbar was organized. Delhi Darbar. And Queen Victoria she got the title of Kasr-e-Hind. She got the title of Kasr-e-Hind. So Delhi Darbar was organized. Queen Victoria got the title of Kasr-e-Hind. She was declared as Emperor of India, Empress of India, Queen Victoria in Delhi Darbar. But parallel to Delhi Darbar, there was a worst famine in Bengal. Worst famine in Bengal. Parallel to Delhi Darbar, there is a worst famine in Bengal. Worst famine in Bengal. It was said that almost 5 million people had died during this period. So that was a worst famine in Bengal. So this is as insensitivity. On one hand, the British is glorifying the thing, and other hand, the peoples are dying in Bengal. So that actually created the atmosphere in which the nationalist sentiments had become very prominent. The nationalist sentiments had become very prominent. That created the atmosphere in which the nationalist sentiments became very prominent. So worst famine in Bengal. Queen Victoria, she got the title of Kasr-e-Hind. So these are the works of Lord Lytton that created the sentiments of nationalism. So out of the many works that we have visited earlier, we have discussed, that is politico-administrative unification, then with the introduction of English, introduction of newspaper, printing press, railways, establishment of International Congress. These are the factors taken by Britishers, but don't forget that we have already studied a very long chapter that is called socio-religious reform movement. And socio-religious reform movement is one chapter where we have a maximum intensity of the nationalism. We have seen political nationalism, economic nationalism also. We will put down that theory also. So here Delhi Darbar was organized. That is during the time of worst famine in Bengal. Add here one fact which is very important, that Lytton had constituted first famine commission, that is Strachey Commission. First famine commission, that is Strachey Commission. Strachey Commission. So worst famine in Bengal. Strachey Commission. Delhi Delhi Darbar, Queen Victoria, Kaisar Hind. Strachey Commission is the first famine commission constituted by British. Lord Ripon. So now the Liberal Party comes to power in England. So Lord Ripon is a viceroy appointed by Liberal Party, 1880 to 84. And Liberal Party had somehow sympathetic to the problems of the Indians. Somehow sympathetic to the problems of the Indian. Lord Ripon, 1880 to 84. (1881) first official census was done. Look, we are dealing with the nationalism, but during the course of reading the factors of nationalism, I will summarize all the facts related to the Lord Ripon, so that you can remember here only in the relevance. 1881 first census. First official census. That time the population of India was 254 million. 254 million, 25 crore 40 lakh. $254 million. So this is the population of India. First official census was organized. That is the head counting, other than it was a total collection of the data. Then 1881 first Factory Act was passed. Strachey Commission was constituted to look after the issues of famine, that what government should take the measures, right? So the governmental action to redress the famine, this is the purpose of Strachey Commission. The government should give grants in aid, provide immediate food, shelter. This is the recommendation. 1881 first Factory Act. The first Factory Act, it was only for the child labor. Only for the child labor. Write down the provision of the Act. First point. First point. Child below 7 years could not work in factory. Second, child between 7 to 12 years child between 7 to 12 years Working hours should be fixed. Third, fencing of dangerous factories. Fencing of dangerous factories. And fourth, appointment of labor inspector. So these are the provisions of the first Factory Act. So it was only for child labor. It was only for child labor. Only for child labor. So first Factory Act was great disappointment to Indian labor. First Factory Act was great disappointment to Indian labor. Why great disappointment? Because it was only for the child labor. There were many specific issues related to the labor. Many specific issues related to labor. So first Factory Act was great disappointment to Indian labor. Then 1882, Hunter Commission was constituted. Hunter Commission was constituted. Hunter Commission was Education Commission. It was Education Commission. It was mainly for primary and secondary education. Primary and secondary education. Mainly for primary and secondary education. In 1882, local self-government was established. Ripon decided to go for administrative decentralization. Local self-government decided to go for administrative decentralization. This is a local self-government. Administrative decentralization. It's called local self-government. 1882. Local self-government. Hunter Commission. Municipalities, Panchayat was established. 1883, Ilbert Bill controversy. Ilbert Bill controversy. Ilbert, he introduced the bill in the assembly. Look, I told you that Queen Victoria had announced in the proclamation that there will be no discrimination on the basis of race, caste or religion. Despite this announcement, discrimination continued. Indian judges were not permitted to see the criminal case of Europeans. Indian judges were not permitted to see the criminal case of Europeans. So in that case, finally Lord Ripon decided to address these issues. Lord Ripon introduced this Ilbert Bill to bring the judicial uniformity in India. And after this bill, now Indian judges can also see the criminal case of Europeans. But obviously, it resulted in huge reaction. Huge reaction means that comes across with white revolt. So now the British men in India and England, they started reacting against the Ilbert Bill, and the result was quite obvious, that British government pressurized Lord Ripon to amend the bill. And then finally, jury system was introduced. Suppose there are three-member judges will see the cases. Two will be British and one Indian, and majority decision will prevail. Majority decision will prevail. So, Ilbert Bill controversy. The Ilbert Bill was introduced. You can write quickly. Ilbert Bill was introduced to bring the judicial uniformity. To bring the judicial uniformity in India. After this bill, even the Indian judges can see the criminal case of Europeans. Even the Indian judges can see the criminal case of Europeans. Criminal case of Europeans. Indian judges can see the criminal case of Europeans. Indian judges can see the criminal case of Europeans. So it was intended to bring judicial uniformity in India. It was intended to bring judicial uniformity in India. It was intended to bring judicial uniformity in India. This resulted in white revolt. This resulted in white revolt. Finally, Ripon changed the content of the bill . Finally, Ripon changed the content of the bill, and the jury system was implemented. Jury system was implemented. With majority of European judges. With majority of European judges. So Ilbert Bill brought Nationalist consciousness. Ilbertville brought nationalist consciousness in India. It had transformed nationalism into Indian national movement. It had transformed nationalism into Indian national movement. It had transformed nationalism into Indian national movement. So it had transformed into nationalism into Indian national movement. Ilbertville controversy. It had transformed nationalism into Indian national movement. It had transformed nationalism into Indian national movement. Then Lord Dufferin, 1884 to 88. Lord Dufferin. During the time of Dufferin, Indian National Congress came into existence. Indian National Congress came into existence in 1885. Indian National Congress. Dufferin called the congressman as microscopic minority of India. Microscopic minority of India. Dufferin called the congressman as microscopic minority of India. Dufferin had hostile approach towards the Congress. Dufferin had hostile approach towards the Congress. Hostile approach towards the Congress. The statement of Dufferin rejected by nationalists. Rejected by nationalists. Statement of Dufferin was rejected by nationalists. Dadabhai Naoroji He said that we can tolerate Lytton, but we should not tolerate Dufferin. We can tolerate Lytton, but we should not tolerate Dufferin. Dadabhai Naoroji, he said that we can tolerate Lytton, but we should not tolerate Dufferin. We can tolerate Lytton, but we should not tolerate Dufferin. Dadabhai Naoroji said that we can tolerate Lytton, but we should not tolerate Dufferin. So it was rejected by nationalists. And lastly, Lord Curzon. So we will discuss Congress in detail. Don't worry. We will study Congress in detail today. After finishing the nationalism, we'll summarize the causes for the rise of nationalism also. So Lord Curzon, 1899 to 1905. Master of the policy of divide and rule. Curzon, master of the policy of divide and rule. Master of the policy of divide and rule. Curzon wanted to break the solidarity of Indian national movement. He wanted to break the solidarity of Indian national movement. Solidarity of Indian national movement. Curzon decided to go for partition of Bengal. We will study this detail, so much detail. So don't worry. The Bengal has to be divided in two parts, West Bengal and East Bengal. So partition of Bengal and division of Indian National Congress. INC means Indian National Congress. Partition of Bengal and division of Indian National Congress. Look, Bengal was a nerve center of nationalism. Nerve center of nationalism. Bengal was nerve center of nationalism. So Curzon wanted to divide Bengal in order to create nationalist consciousness in order to create division of nationalist consciousness. We will study in detail how. And then division of Indian National Congress. Division of Indian National Congress. So in Congress there were two wings, moderate and extremist. They had a very strong contradiction. So looking at the contradiction, Curzon said that Congress is tottering to its fall, and one of the biggest ambition of my life is to give it peaceful demise. One of the biggest ambition of my life is to give it peaceful demise. Congress is tottering to its fall, and one of the biggest ambition of my life is to give it peaceful demise. Peaceful demise. So partition of Bengal and division of Indian National Congress was the top priority of the Curzon. He expressed all these intentions, and therefore this intention was rejected and opposed by nationalists, so it provoked the nationalism. It provoked the nationalism. So Lord Curzon, 1899 to 1905, he was the master of the policy of divide and rule. Master of the policy of divide and rule. It provoked the nationalism. Some other works of Lord Curzon we will discuss. So this work actually, this is for nationalism, but I told you that we will discuss the works of Lord Curzon also, so that you can summarize and remember all the points here only. Okay, so therefore some other works of Lord Curzon. Some other works of Lord Curzon. Robertson Commission. It is for the railway. Robertson Commission was constituted by Curzon. Railway. Ackworth Commission. It is so Robertson Commission, Fraser Commission, Ackworth's last name. Fraser Commission. This will be SU. Fraser Commission. Fraser Commission for the police reform. Fuller Commission for Army reform. Army reform. Monsarif Commission for Monsarif Commission for Irrigation Commission. Irrigation. Monsarif Commission for Irrigation. Monsarif Commission for Irrigation. Thomas Riley Commission for Education Commission. Education Commission. Thomas Riley Commission for Education. For education. After Thomas Riley Commission, Indian Universities Act was passed. Indian Universities Act was passed 1904. Thomas Riley Commission suggested passing of Indian Universities Act. After this act, the control of government on nationalist control of government on universities had increased. Control of government on universities had increased. Had increased. Control of government on universities had increased. In fact, government wanted to control the universities so that universities should not involve in nationalist activities. So control of the government had increased. In fact, government wanted to increase the control so that the students should not take part in nationalist activities. Student should not take part in nationalist activities. So Indian Universities Act. Archaeological Survey of India was established. Reconstituted, not established. So Archaeological Survey of India was reconstituted. And Ancient Monument Protection Act was passed. Ancient Monument Protection Act was passed. Ancient Monument Protection Act was passed. So these are the works of Curzon. So anyway, our objective was to find out the factors that lead to the rise of nationalism. And the last couple of hours we're talking about these things only. So we started from here, the causes, and then the second half of 19th century, definitely it was a watershed in the history, that after the revolt, many things come across, and thereafter it had prompted the rise of nationalism. So first factor is a politico-administrative unification. Politico-administrative unification. Second factor we dealt with introduction of English, establishment of printing press, fourth, railways, fifth, establishment of Indian National Congress. I told you it had transformed nationalism into Indian national movement. Reactionary policies of Viceroy, Lord Canning, Lord Lytton, Lord Ripon, Lord Dufferin, Lord Curzon. These are the viceroys we have seen their works, and some works related to nationalism. Some works related to nationalism. Some works related to nationalism. Ackworth Commission had separated general budget with railway budget. So it was a railway commission, in fact, but constituted later. So I will give this reference later. But it was a railway commission, both Robertson and Ackworth. So Ackworth, I wanted to tell you that it was a later, but it was related to railways. And the last factor, that is the socio-religious reform movement. SRRM means socio-religious reform movement. The socio-religious awareness definitely helped in rise of nationalism. SRRM, socio-religious reform movement. So socio-religious reform movement, SRRM. And we have seen many types of the nationalism had generated. Political nationalism, economic nationalism, cultural nationalism. So various types of the nationalism had come across. We have dealt so many things about the socio-religious reform movement. So this is also one of the factor. This is also one of the factor of the rise of nationalism. Also one of the factors that led to the rise of nationalism. So seventh factor is socio-religious reform movement. So Ackworth Commission it had separated railway budget with general budget. So earlier only one budget, but after that the railway budget was separated from general budget. I think 2017 it was again merged. Now there is only one budget. So socio-religious reform movement. Okay, then we have entered in the phase of nationalism, and then let's go for the establishment of Indian National Congress. Establishment of Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress was established in 1885 by a retired civil servant A.O. Hume. Retired civil servant A.O. Hume. Hume first time proposed the establishment in the meeting of Theosophical Society in Madras. First time he proposed the establishment of Indian National Congress in the meeting of Theosophical Society in Madras. I hope you remember the Theosophical Society. Theosophical Society was established in New York, then again it was shifted to India. So Theosophical Society. He invited, means AOU, invited many Indian and the British political activists, socio-political activists. He invited many Indian and the British socio-political activists at Simla. And it resulted in establishment of Indian National Union. Indian National Union. It resulted in establishment of Indian National Union. Indian National Union. Establishment of International Union. After suggestion of Dadabhai Naoroji, its name was changed to Indian National Congress. Dadabhai Naoroji, its name was changed to Indian National Congress. After suggestion of Dadabhai Naoroji, its name was changed to Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress. The word Congress refers to assembly of people. The meaning of the word Congress, assembly of people. And it is borrowed from American Constitution. It is borrowed from American Constitution. The word Congress refers to the assembly of people and it is borrowed from American Constitution. Indian National Union. So now after suggestion of Dadabhai Naoroji, its name was changed to Congress. After suggestion from Dadabhai Naoroji, its name was changed to Indian National Congress. autosuggestion from Dada Bhai Nauroji. The word Congress means assembly of people, and it is borrowed from American Constitution. American Constitution. The first meeting of Congress was proposed at Pune. First meeting of Congress was proposed at Pune. But due to outbreak of plague, the venue was shifted to Bombay. Plague or disease created the same havoc like that of the corona. So it was not less than corona for that time. So plague. So proposed at Pune, and then venue was shifted to Bombay. Venue was shifted to Bombay. In first meeting at Bombay, only 72 delegates had participated. Only 72 delegates had participated. "72 delegates had participated in the first session. In the first session. Only 72 delegates had participated. W.C. Banerjee he was the first president he was member of Calcutta Bar Council. Calcutta Bar Council. In his presidential speech, W.C. Banerjee said, underquote, that this kind of meeting is only possible under British sun. Is only possible only under the British sun. So this kind of meeting is possible only under British sun. So wherever there is a British sun, there is freedom of meetings. So W.C. Banerjee. Now let us see some of the theories regarding the establishment of Congress. 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 First theory is the colonial theory. Colonial theory. There was a British man who wrote a biography of Ajo Hume, and he also became the president of the Congress. Many Englishmen had become president of Congress. So William Wedderburn, he is the person who gave the theory that is called colonial theory. And he said that Hume, as a civil servant, had a first-hand information about the problems of the Indians. And he was very deeply moved by the political conditions of Indians. So therefore, he wanted to create all India political organization which could serve as a voice of India, so that British government would respond the call of the Indians very swiftly. This is how the William Wedderburn tried to portray the establishment of Congress. So colonial theory said this theory was established by William Wedderburn. He was biographer of Ajo Hume. He wrote biography of Ajo Hume, and he was also president of Indian National Congress. President of Indian National Congress. He was also the president of the Indian National Congress. So biography of Ajo Hume. According to William Wedderburn, Hume, as a civil servant, had first-hand information about problems of Indians, had first-hand information about problems of Indians. So he wanted to create All India political platform, which could serve as a voice of India, so that the British would respond the problems of Indians swiftly. British could respond the problems of Indian swiftly. So it is humanistic values of A.U. Hume, that led to the establishment of Congress. Humanistic value of A.U. Hume that led to the establishment of Congress. Humanistic value of A.U. Hume that led to the establishment of Congress. Second theory was the nationalist theory. Lala Lajpat Rai he was very critical. He criticized the approach of A.U. Hume. Lala Lajpat Rai, he criticized the approach of A.U. Hume. He said that it was conspiracy of Dufferin. Dufferin baca bayish hai. So conspiracy of Dufferin and Ajohum against Indian nationalism. Against Indian nationalism. Conspiracy of Dufferin and Hume against Indian nationalism. Lala Lajpat Rai he wrote a book, Unhappy India. Unhappy India. Wrote a book, Unhappy India. He also published journals and articles. Journals and articles. Journals and articles in Young India. Young India. Journals and articles in Young India. Unhappy India and journals and articles in Young India. Unhappy India is a book. He explained the safety valve theory behind the establishment of Congress. Behind the establishment of Congress. Safety valve theory behind the establishment of Congress. Look, what is the situation that he trying to explain? Look, this is a British government of India, okay? British government of India. And this is Indian public. So now the nationalist reaction of the Indian public was directly affecting the interest of the British government of India. British government of India was on a fix. So directly affecting the interest of British government of India. So Indian National Congress would be established in between so that the reaction of the public will be shared by Congress and it will not affect the British government of India. Affect the British government of India. It will not affect the British government of India. So this is safety valve theory. According to this theory, Indian National Congress would be established as buffer organization in between rising nationalism and British government of India. Rising nationalism and British government of India. In between rising nationalist and the British government of India. So that the interest of the British government would be protected. The interest of the British government will be protected. So Congress would act as a safety valve. Congress would act as a safety valve. Congress would act as a safety valve. This is second theory, and third theory is regional integration theory. Regional integration theory. Regional integration theory. This is third theory. Regional integration theory means many pre-Congress organizations had came into existence, and then this organization gradually integrated one by one. So many pre-nationalist organizations had came into existence. Pre-nationalist organization had came into existence. That's called national integration theory. Yeah, regional integration theory. So pre-Congress organization pre-Congress organization. I have discussed this safety valve theory, that why Britishers had created this. The British wanted that this nationalism should not affect the interest. Congress would work as a breakwater in storm. Congress would work in behalf of Britishers. Congress will be into British collaboration. This is the reason why the Congress was established. So rising nationalism was affecting the British government of India. But Congress would work as a breakwater in storm. Means Congress will stop the rising nationalist tendency affecting the British government. Congress will try to convince them, console them. So this is the intention of the British. But finally Congress turned into the platform for the Indian national movement. (1838) Landholders Society was established. Landholders Society was established 1838 by Dwarkanath Tagore. By Dwarkanath Tagore. Landholders Society. Dwarkanath Tagore. This is considered as first political organization. First political organization. This is considered as the first political organization. Landholders Society or Zamindar Sabha. Zamindar Sabha. Landholder Society or Zamindar Sabha. (1843) Bengal British India Society. British India Society was established by John Adams. John Adams. Both the organization was merged. British Indian Association. British Indian Association. British Indian Association was established. It was merger of both the organization. John Adams. So many Indians and the Britishers were there together. Many Indians and the Britishers were together. John Adams. British Indian Association. In 1875, Shishir Kumar Ghosh established India League. And 1876, Indian Association. By Surendranath Banerjee. And Anand Mohan Bose. Anand Mohan Bose. So here Indian Association, this is considered as first important organization before the establishment of Congress. The most important organization before establishment of Indian National Congress. Most important organization before establishment of Indian National Congress. Because it presented all India demand, it had presented all India demand. So it had presented all India demand, like civil services reform, Civil Services Reform. Civil Services Reform, that is raising of upper age limit, raising of upper age limit, simultaneous examination in India and England, exam in India and England, simultaneous holding of examination in India and England, simultaneous holding of examination in India and England, more Indians should get opportunity in civil services, more Indians should get opportunity in civil services, more Indians should get opportunity in civil services. So civil services reform. He demanded reform in council. Council means legislature. Legislature. Reform in council means legislature. Legislature. Like inclusion of more Indians inclusion of more Indians in legislature. Discussion of budget. Discussion of budget. Third, reform in third, abolition of India House. Abolition of India House. Abolition of India House. So this is a reason why it is considered as the most important organization before the establishment of Congress, Indian Association. Most important organization before the establishment of Congress. So many fundamentals was addressed by Indian Association, Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose. Civil services reform, raising of upper age limit, simultaneous holding of examination in India and England, reform in council, that is legislature, inclusion of more Indians, and discussion of budget. And third is abolition of India House. Abolition of India House. Abolition of India House. Civil services reform. In Maharashtra, (1867), Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was established. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha was established. It was established by M.G. Ranade. We have discussed about Ranade. When we are talking about the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha and the Widow Remarriage Association, he was very much concerned about the plight of the widows. So great social reformer, Justice M.G. Ranade. Justice M.D. Ranade. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. It was established to act as a bridge between India and England. To act as a bridge between India and England. Act as a bridge between India and England. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, 1867. It is called precursor of Indian National Congress. Precursor of Indian National Congress. Precursor of Indian National Congress. Pune Sarvajanik Sabha in Maharashtra. On the eve of establishment of Congress, eve of establishment of Congress, on the eve of establishment of Congress, two important organizations came into existence. Two important organizations came into existence. First is Bombay Presidency Association, and second, Madras Mahajan Sabha. Madras Mahajan Sabha. So Bombay Presidency Association and Madras Mahajan Sabha. Bombay Presidency Association and Madras Mahajan Sabha. Bombay Presidency Association it was established by Badruddin Tayyibji. Badruddin Tayyabji, Taiyabji. Badruddin Tayyabji. Firoz Shah Mehta, Firoz Shah Mehta. So Badruddin Tayyabji, Firoz Shah Mehta. K.T. Telang, K.T. Telang. So they were known as Bombay Trio. They were known as Bombay Trio. Trio means always together, non-Bombay Trio. And Madras Mahajan Sabha, Veer Raghavacharya, Veer Raghavacharya, P. Anand Charlu, and Subramaniam Iyer. And Subramaniam Iyer. Subramaniam Iyer. So this is the organization which came on the eve of the establishment of Indian National Congress. So we can see that many local organizations had turned into regional, and regional organization turned into national, provincial and national organization. So gradually, one by one, many organizations came into existence. This is called pre-Congress organizations. So many national organizations came into, many provincial organizations came into existence on the eve of the Indian National Congress. So in 19th century, many local and regional organizations gradually transform into provincial and then national organization. So that is how the leaders of these organizations actually constituted the leadership of Indian National Congress. So this is a establishment of Congress. So we will tomorrow discuss about the Indian National Movement. Thank you. That's all for the day. Have a nice evening.